Hey, what up everybody? Stevie Breach coming to you with a good old DVD Blu-ray review. I just realized that I had the Blu-ray of this, but it is the SummerSlam 2010. The reason why I'm doing a review on this is because I've been watching a lot of the prediction videos for SummerSlam this year, and everybody just is sort of using this as a punching bag, just sort of like shitting all over it, saying that it was not a good pay-per-view. And you know, I was at this pay-per-view. I went down to the Staples Center last year on vacation and was able to check out SummerSlam, made a whole weekend of it, pretty much going to Monday Night Raw, the double taping the next night. And that's not the way I remember it at all. I remember it being a real good show, highlighted by basically right here, Team Cena against Nexus, what sort of took over last summer for wrestling and sort of pushed it to the, the forefront and made it sort of like talkable about. You know, with a lot of people, brought some people back just by how cool it was to see these Nexus guys come off of NXT and their first night on Monday Night Raw, sort of take out John Cena and CM Punk, and just how cool that all was. This was the first time that we got to see them in real action. Was Nexus. Basically they came out for their first match ever at this card. We'd seen them on NXT, but NXT is sort of like the AAA. That when people come on to Monday Night Raw or SmackDown, they still call it their WWE debut. So this basically was all these guys' debut, and they went up against the Dream Team of Monday Night Raw. And, I just do not see why people, call this a horrible show. The match, or the event started out with Intercontinental Championship match was Dolph Ziggler against Kofi Kingston. The match was really good until it was interrupted by Nexus. They came and ran down the SmackDown guys. And, the whole reason why we started off with the whole, no finish in the first match was for the one fact that, on the Monday Night Raw, the go-home show from Sacramento that I was also able to attend, Team Cena was looking for, their last member because they had taken out the Great Khali, and Mark Henry had sort of stepped up and said he was going to take that place. And Nexus came and they beat the crap out of Mark Henry to make sure that he wouldn't take it. And, they had sort of already gone through all the main talent of Monday Night Raw. And, people were starting to wonder who was going to be the last guy. Was it going to be The Miz? Whereas, who had sort of turned down, John Cena on Monday before. And then also, people were wondering, are they going to try to get somebody from SmackDown? Are they going to try to go to the other show to try to take somebody over and really help out this team? I mean, you had former champions and Chris Jericho, John Cena, Edge, Bret Hart was on that team. You had future stars like John Morrison and R-Truth. Who's this last guy going to be? And basically, they were sending a message to the whole WWE roster that if you join this team, you're going to have to cross the Nexus, and they were going to mess you up, pretty much. So that sent a message to the whole SmackDown roster is don't fuck with us, pretty much, and don't come over here. From there, the second match of the night was the Divas Championship match. Alicia Fox versus Melina. You don't need me to tell you, that's one of the greatest women's, or not even one of the best women's matches. As said on Tep and Up, it is one of the greatest wrestling matches of all time. And that is laughable. But honestly, Melina captured the Divas title in a good match against Alicia Fox. Real good stuff. Highlighted by after Melina when she's in her hometown and she's able to sort of celebrate. You saw the confrontation with Lay Cool, who was getting white hot at that time. That was real good stuff as they go on in the direction. From there, we had the 3-on-1 handicap match. Big Show versus Straight Edge Society. This is the only match on here that just doesn't make sense to me. It wasn't good for the one reason that it didn't make sense that why it would take three guys to beat the Big Show. It sort of made CM Punk look weak. I mean, it's a year later, we're heading into SummerSlam, and he is one of the WWE champions right now, and it just shows you how the booking has changed for him from last year to this year. There's not a whole lot to say about this. Basically, it's just a 3-on-1 match. It shows the strength of the Big Show, it shows the strength of the Straight Edge Society, and yeah, it is what it is. But this is the only match on here that's not any good. From there, we went to Sheamus versus Randy Orton. Randy Orton, this was the peak of him turning face at that time, and he was hitting his strides, and I was real surprised how the LA crowd, because they're not the they're not the most loud all the time. They come, they pack in any numbers, but once they get there, they don't really get into it. But I was so surprised how Randy Orton was over. That was the one thing I remember about SummerSlam more than anything was just, how I'd been to other shows, but I'd never seen Orton get praised like this before. And the match with Sheamus was real good. Moving on from there, Kane versus Rey Mysterio. Everybody knew that Taker was in the coffin. Didn't make any other sense for Kane to be bringing that coffin out there. Didn't make any sense why Kane didn't check that coffin before he brought it out there. But, basically the whole match revolved around the coffin. The coffin was moving. If you were there live, you could see Taker in there. I don't know what he was doing to make that coffin move around so much. But just like I said, everybody knew that this was the reveal of The Undertaker. And I was real surprised that The Undertaker, basically turned on Kane, and we found out that Kane was the guy that took Taker out. And that whole storyline was real weird. He was on TV, and then just one week he wasn't, and Kane said that he found him, brutally beat up in the back, if you don't remember it. But it ended up being Kane, and then we got the long pay-per-view run of Kane versus The Undertaker, which Kane surprisingly came out on top of every time. It was pretty cool to see Kane get that big push. I'm not the biggest Kane fan, but honestly, it was believable, his title run, and right here is where, it's not where it started. He wanted Money in the Bank, but this is where the whole, big feud with Taker got kicked off. And then that led us to what everybody showed up for, the main event, Nexus against Team WB. Real good match, and it was cool to see Bret Hart come back for SummerSlam, and even be able to get physical in the ring with Heath Slater for a minute, even though he got disqualified for the chair, because everybody knows he's not going to take a bump. But honestly, it was a real good match. The whole booking of this thing really didn't make sense. With this being their first match, Nexus should have won this. It would have kept them white hot. There wasn't any titles on the line or anything like that. No real, there wasn't any, consequences that they won. It wasn't like they were going to change Monday Night Raw to Monday Night Nexus or anything like that. But all in all, I love this show. It's real fun. I honestly have watched it twice since I picked it up, and honestly, there's a lot of DVDs on the shelf that I don't watch, but I'm always able to, put this on and, live through a good show, and there's a DVD and all that, so I highly recommend this. If you don't have it on Blu-ray, pick it up on the DVD, but I don't know. There's always a choice. I'm always going to buy Blu-ray over DVD. It comes with the special edition Monday Night Raw from August 9, 2010 that I said I was lucky enough to appear. You can see Bret Hart wrestle in his Batman shirt. For some reason, it also comes with a waste of an interview by Brian Danielson, who makes his return at the event, and just basically talks to Josh Matthews for about 30 seconds, and just saying he's happy to be back, and he did. But there it is, SummerSlam 2010. Thumbs up from Stevie. It's a must-buy. Get it on the shelf. Hopefully this ends all the discussion about it being bad.